My name is Mary Jane Rochelson, and I am a professor emerita at Florida International University. I taught in the English department for 32 years, and I was and kind of still am affiliated with the programs in Jewish studies, Holocaust studies, and women's and gender studies, as well as the English department as an emerita retired faculty member. I am excited to be moderating a virtual conversation with Asaf Galay, the director of the film, The Adventures of Saul Bellow. So, Asaf, to begin, I really have two questions. I wasn't sure which should come first, so I'm going to put them together, and you may address them in any way you like. Please tell us something about yourself and how you came to direct this film.
So one thing that we talked a little bit before, I was born in Chicago, and my father was studying University of Chicago. He did a master's degree in music. He's a pianist and composer. So Saul Bellow was there, a big figure. I never met him. I was only a baby. So I felt very connected to the University of Chicago. Later, my sister studied there, and I love the city of Chicago. And Bellow is the best writer if you want to read about Chicago. I think that he's also the best for that, but this is one thing that you can really feel the city of Chicago in his literature. But really, this project started when I did a film about Isaac Bashevis Singer. It's called The Muses of Isaac Bashevis Singer. I think it was 7 years ago, also in the Miami Jewish Film Festival. It was a big celebration for me to come to Miami and to see where Isaac Bashevis Singer lived, and there was a big audience. And the film about Isaac Bashevis Singer tell about his women translators. He had 48 women translators, but his first translator was Saul Bellow. Saul Bellow translated in 1953 the short story Gimpel the Fool, that made Isaac Bashevis Singer well known for the non-Yiddish speaking readers. And after that, Singer thought, okay, Saul Bellow is going to still, everybody will think that I'm a good writer because Saul Bellow translated me. So from now on, I will only work with women writers. So
oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, so he was like the motive. So I said, okay, so my next film will be homage to Saul Bellow.
That's interesting. I love the way that you start the film, by the way, with the footage of the the elevated subway, which is a contradiction in terms, but that is so Chicago. And starting it with the old L and then the new L and the new L and the old pictures of Chicago and the current pictures, I thought that was wonderful. As I mentioned to you before the interview, I also studied at the University of Chicago, and I used to see Saul Bellow walking by in his fedora, and of course, I never said hello to him, but that made the film especially fascinating to me. Can you give us an overview of the process you went through in directing this film, getting funding for it, etc.?
Oh, it's a long process. I can just tell that it took 5.5, 6 years. First, I got money from one of it's called Keren Avichai and Keren Gesher. They are funding the Jewish stories. So I got this money to start, and I got the first bunch of interview. Then I got the National Endowment for Humanities that gave me the big money, and I after that got a rough cut, and I could finish the film, but I didn't have enough money for all the archival footage.
Mm-hmm.
That it's very rich in this film. It's from all over sources that I
Yeah.
found, and very expensive in the end when you need to make a film. And so I applied to, it's called the Library of Congress Ken Burns Prize, and the film
Mm.
was one of the three finalists, and it gave me this big prize, the money to finish the film.
That's very interesting. I mean, how long did it take you from start to finish, including getting the funding, etc.?
6 years.
6 years. Well, it shows. It shows. It shows. I thought it was a very interesting film. And as you know, Bellow is a controversial figure. And I thought that you did a very good job of depicting the controversies without pushing the viewer one way or the other. You allowed the viewer of this movie to make up his or her mind. And I thought that you chose your interview subjects very well. You had a really interesting, intelligent, and diverse group of writers and scholars. So I'm wondering, could you tell us, please, how you chose that group of writers and scholars? And were there any, you don't have to name names, who you interviewed and didn't use their content?
First, I really thank you for this analyze of the film, because this is really important to me. When I do a film, I don't like to make a geographic film. If you watch other the film, and also I don't like to do films that are criticizing and like judgmental. You know, that they know what they want to do, and they are doing the trial, and giving the verdict, and they are giving everything. They are it's the other side of the well-known, the narrators that know everything. So I try to depict both sides for everything, also to give him the way to give his views, I mean Saul Bellow. And in the end, the judge, the verdict is the audience, he will tell. And in the end, I think that the most important thing that after that, people wants to go and read Bellow. This is my mission in the end. I don't try to tell him that he was good, but I want that people will go and read Bellow. And if people say in the end of the movies that they want to read now one of these novels that maybe they read, or something looks more interesting for them right now, I feel that I completed my job. I'm happy.
Yes, I had read Herzog in college and Seize the Day, either in college or grad school, I don't remember. I really loved them both. I never read, I tried to read The Adventures of Augie March and couldn't get through it. I was very young. I think I was in college then too, and I didn't read his later works because I had read a lot of the negative words about them. But after I saw the film the first time, I bought a copy of Ravelstein, and I now want to try The Adventures of Augie March again. And it's not because I don't disagree with a lot of the things Saul Bellow did and said. As Philip Roth says at the end of the film, he was not a nice man. And I think he did have a difficult relationship towards women and towards African-American people. But your film got me to take another look at him. So how did you choose the writers and scholars you interviewed?
I always try to get the more people that are close to him, the most intimate circle around him, people that knows him. And then I meet people, I do a research, I hear their opinion, and I choose the ones that are saying verbal and smart and new ways. If it's Vivian Gornick, that she's a feminist scholar, literary scholar, or Katie Roifi, or Martin Amis, Salman Rushdie. So I try to mix between everybody.
I thought it was an excellent mix. You can just answer yes or no since I asked the question. Were there any interviews you didn't use at all?
Yes, two. One was Aleph Bet Yoshua. He met several times, but the interview was in Hebrew.
Oh, I see.
I felt that it's
yeah,
and he didn't give me too much information. I think that I went because he lives near to me. I live in Tel Aviv.
yeah, that's good. Okay, were there any particular challenges that you faced apart from getting funding in making the film?
Yes, it's hard to choose the right works, the right novels, the right literature to tell his story, you know, and in the end, I didn't do, in the movie, you cannot seize the day, is not in the movie. Henderson, the Rain King, a lot of things, you know, some of the things that I love are not in the movie, so it's hard to choose. And I choose several, only 5 books that he wrote, and that's all. It's hard.
Well, I thought it was really interesting that you chose the books that connected with the 5 wives. I thought that was a very interesting strategy. And also getting to meet all, I don't know if we met all of his children, but we did meet several of his children, which I thought was really interesting. Another thing that I liked very much, you know, I started watching the film and I thought, how on earth do you make a film about a writer, someone who dealt with the written word, not visual materials? And I really admired the way you used actual text photographing from the actual books. I thought that focused on what Saul Bellow actually did. So I'm wondering how you came up with that technique.
First, I can tell you that this is in the documentary world, when you do a biography, to make a biography about a writer, it's the most hardest. To make a biography about a filmmaker, it's the easiest. About a dancer, it's also very easiest. Then theater is more complicated. Sculpture is painting, it's because it takes so many, but still there is visual you can take. But the literature is it's the most difficult. Also, just to make from literature a book, it's very hard, you know. Someone, a great producer from Hollywood, told me, if you want to make a movie, a big movie from a literature, choose something that is mediocre. If you choose a really good masterpiece, it will never be a good movie.
Interesting.
So if you will see in the history of the cinema, like The Godfather, the book is not good, or The Birds of Hitchcock, or a lot of things that became a really great movie and are based on books. The books are really something that you can skip. But to make a great literature from a great movie from a great literature, it's really hard to find. So I tried, because I love literature. I wanted to be a writer, but I'm not a good writer. Maybe I didn't suffer enough in my childhood to be a good writer. I admire writers. So I wanted to give the literature to the world their respect, to be on the screen, like people read it, and to give this feeling of reading the great literature, the great paragraph of Bellow and the movie. So I wanted to give it that this is the art and not to change it. It's the same font like in the books, the same how you read it. And there is no like visualization of it or just the words.
Mm. Yes, and that I thought that was very powerful. And again, you showed some words that reflect pretty badly on Saul Bellow, and I thought that was a good thing. In addition to the ones that show his great skill as a writer. Are there any anecdotes from the production experience that you'd like to share?
Yes, I have a really good one.
Okay, good. Okay.
So first, when I approached Philip Roth to that he will give me the interview, and I said, I'm making a movie about Saul Bellow, can I interview you? He answered no. He said, I finished I finished writing. I don't give any interviews. I out of this game. I don't want to give anyone. And I was, no, I will not have Philip Roth. So I wrote him and I said, if when you will meet Saul Bellow, and if he will say the same to you, he will not give you this. So he said, okay. So come to me. I will give you 10 minutes, only 10 minutes. So I drove to Connecticut after he said that, only 10 minutes, and come there. And I saw all the movies, the documentary movies, the interviews with Philip Roth before that. And I saw, okay, I know what he's going to tell. He have the same, he was like a politician. He have the same jokes always about the taxi driver and the Portnoy. Always you could hear the same. This is really difference from Saul Bellow, that from all the interviews, each time he enjoys to play chess with the interviewers, and he say new things. He always he likes to get interviewed. Philip Roth hated it. So I came to him with my big, heavy accent, and he was laughing, and he was starting to tell me so much dirty jokes about him and Saul Bellow and Isaac Bashevis Zinger, and he talked to me 1 hour and 20 minutes only about Saul Bellow. That it's very unusual for a writer to talk about another writer, not about himself. And then I think that when he talked about Bellow, he wanted to say thing about himself, and later it became the last interview with him. He died like 7 months later, and it was a great interview.
It was. And I'd like to tell our viewers, I suspect that most of you have seen the film, but maybe you didn't stay past the credits. Go back to the film and go to the end of the credits, and you'll find a little surprise with Philip Roth, which I thought was great. I really enjoyed that. Is there anything else you would like to tell us before we close?
That I now working on another film about the Fleischer Studios, the 4 brothers that made the Betty Boop, Superman, Popeye.
Wow.
And I will come to Miami to film there, and I hope that to show it soon in the next film festival in Miami.
Wow. Well, I hope to see it. And maybe the film festival will ask me to interview again, because I really enjoyed meeting you and I enjoyed this interview. So I want to thank you, Asaf Galay, the director of The Adventures of Saul Bellow, soon to direct the film about the Fleischer Brothers Studios, which sounds great. And once again, thank you to all of our members, patrons, and sponsors, community partners, volunteers, and all of you film lovers for participating in the milestone 25th Miami Jewish Film Festival, of which I too am very proud to have this small part. So, and I am a member as well. So thank you, Asaf Galay. Hope to see you in
Mary.
Miami next year. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks a
Okay.
lot.
Okay,
It was really
להתראות.
fun.
It was
Bye.
fun. Bye.